And good afternoon, live from Hollywood. Stay right where you are for all the stunning glamour of the red carpet and for all the emotion and entertainment of the biggest television event in the world, bar none. Yes, it's the Oscars. And if I sound excited, it's because I am. With 1 billion people watching around the globe, this is the night when the questions which have preoccupied show business for weeks will finally be answered. Will The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King succeed where its predecessors have failed and lift the award for Best Picture? Can Clint Eastwood claim his second Best Director prize? Will the mantle for Best Actor be conferred upon the dramatic Sean Penn, the comedic Bill Murray or Johnny Depp doing his impersonation of Keith Richards and Pepe Le Pew? Above all, will I and my guests Rob Brydon, Ronni, Ancona and Alistair McGowan manage not to burst with anticipation before the whole shebang gets underway? I don't know. Let's see. Are you feeling it, guys? Is it beginning to get to you?
Oh, yes, yes. Ronni looks superb, I have to say. Look at you. You could be on the red carpet in that dress.
No,
in fact, that is the red carpet. I think there's probably a little shape of red carpet cut out.
She's in red.
You look great from here, anyway.
You do look lovely. It's kind of it's a lovely picture we have then. It's perfectly balanced.
Thank you.
A beautiful women with a couple of chimps on either side. We're going to chat more throughout the course of the evening. We're going to go over to Tom Brooke. He's our man on the red carpet down there because I think he has Pierce Brosnan. Tom, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we do actually have Pierce Brosnan
Wonderful.
with us. Pierce, you're on the air. Tell me, what are you actually doing here tonight in terms of presenting?
I'm presenting, what am I doing? I'm having a good time, hopefully. My wife and I, this is our second outing. We did one about 8 years ago, but tonight Julianne Moore and myself are presenting Best Editing.
How big an event is the Oscars for you? I mean, when you were growing up as a kid, did you tune in and watch it?
Oh, huge. I loved it. I mean, I was there when I was at drama school. It was, we'd all sit around and watch it and have bets on who's going to win. It's been a huge part of my life, and I think it's a huge part of any actor's life. For frivolous reasons, for reasons of like someday you're going to be up there and pick up one of those awards. It's just a great event.
You're looking very sharp. Who are you wearing?
Mr. Armani.
Was that a hard decision to make?
No, it was easy.
Well, look, good luck, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the TV broadcast. Thank you.
Jonathan, see ya.
There you are, Jonathan, a personal greeting from Pierce Brosnan.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Pierce. Well, look at that. Next time you see him, tell him to shave, will you? Look at the state of him. It's the Oscars. What's going on?
I'm exactly seeing Best Editing, though, because I can't wait to find out who wins that one.
Yeah, that's always my personal favourite as well, that and Best Foreign Short.
Yes.
It's only just over there. You know, the Oscars, from where we are geographically, is kind of over my shoulder, back over that way. It isn't far at all. And it does feel like we're right close. Did you see who left a little earlier? You see who was staying at the hotel, who went off to...
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Did you see him?
I saw that. I chatted to him.
Did
you didn't chat to him?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Did you
we
chat?
talked about a little idea for BBC Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's making the movie version of Marion and Jeff, I believe.
That's right, yeah.
Who's he going to be?
He says, I don't feel like I've lost a wife, I feel like I've gained a groundhog.
You can contact us. You can tell us what you think of the show as it proceeds live from the Kodak Theatre, or indeed what we're doing here as well. You can get hold of us by emailing us at oscars@thebc.co.uk, or you can text us 07786 200070. That's what we'd like you to do. Is it what you expected, though? I mean, is it kind of like, you know, you feel like you're here, you feel like you're part of it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'm just so keen to see what wins, and I just hope that Lord of the Rings doesn't sweep the board.
Alistair,
I'm sorry, but
I
that's how I feel. There's so many good things in there, but
and we had two Hobbits in early, and you've got the cheek, the temerity.
They're making a musical now.
I will say you didn't say
We're
that when they were
staring at
here
their
to their
feet.
faces.
No,
I would
didn't
say it was
say
quite
that,
a different story when they were
No,
actually in the
but
building.
Rob and I
course I
made
kept
sure
quiet.
that they knew how you felt. Oh,
Good.
yes.
Guys, I have some emails already from people who've been emailing in. Some very flattering ones about me. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies, there's one here from James. Who's the bird in the middle? She's absolutely gorgeous.
Who's that from?
That's from a fella
Janet?
called James, who we should perhaps pull him up on the fact that he still appears to be living in the 70s.
It was quick off the mark, but 5 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe he's talking about the first outfit, but this one, this evening, you're making the effort as well. Who are you wearing?
Thanks, Dad. What?
Who
am I
wearing?
wearing?
Yeah.
I am wearing Ben DeLisi, and he's very inconspicuous, isn't he? He's
lovely.
a bit from my back,
Well,
but
that's
he's
nice.
no. It's Ben DeLisi. I can only keep it for about 12 hours. When I give it back, you see, it'll be, I don't know, on the stroke of midnight. I have to give it back.
That's, you know, we've all bought our clothes. You see, we're slightly classier acts. Gary in Glasgow is also taken by you, Ronni. He says, Ronni Ancona's bar should win Best Supporting Role. you see, we think we've got a very classy crowd watching us late night, but essentially I think it's people who just don't have beds.
Yes.
That's the kind of people. And we've got some other nice ones, but please do keep the emails coming in. Now, the 5,803 members of the Academy have been voting busily in recent weeks, of course. That's why we're all here, but they haven't been the only ones. Surfers of BBC News Online have passed judgment on the nominations to say just who they think should win, and the results are as follows, and I'll be interested in what you think of these. Best Actress, Charlize Theron in Monster, got 33% of the votes, which is interesting because, of course, that film hasn't even opened in Britain yet. So presumably they've just been reading the American movie magazines.
Piracy is alive and well.
Exactly.
And funding terrorism.
Well,
let's not forget that.
Is that what it's doing?
That's what it says in the cinema commercials.
Thanks for starting the evening off with that note.
Sorry.
There. That's really.
We've got a 5-second delay, haven't we?
For Best Actor, the News Online voters have gone for Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, that's not going to happen.
With a 55%
She's
well,
so
it
arrogant,
has
too.
happened. You mean,
Well,
you mean it won't happen tonight for the
happened,
Oscars? Okay.
I think they're
But you see,
mistaken.
this is the people voting here, you see, and I think that's a kind of interesting
Comedy
distinction.
turn.
For Best Director, you'll be delighted, Alistair, Peter Jackson, with a whopping 82% for his
Can't
work on The
argue
Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. And it's no surprise that the same film has got the vote when it comes to Best Picture, with 80% going for that one. And the interactive experience doesn't end there, my friends. We want you to tell us what you think of the Big Big Show via email. I've given you the address already, but here it is again, oscars@bbc.co.uk. Text us 07786 2000 70. What do you think? What are your predictions? Let's start with supporting actress. What do you think, Alistair, this evening?
Supporting actress, I think I will go for, I think Shorey, I can never pronounce her second name, Adashlu, who was in House of Sand and Fog. I think she's going to get it for that performance. I think she will. I think she will get it.
Okay, well, Ronni, what do you think? Who do you
This is who we think will.
I think Uber Pout girl, Ronni Zellweger, is definitely going to get it.
Apple-faced Rennie.
She's definitely going to get it. And who do I think should... she was very good in that.
Well, you keep thinking.
Patricia
I'm going to ask
Clarkson,
Rob what he
very
thinks.
good, very good, Patricia Clarkson.
Well,
I think Renee Zellweger for just the way she strangled that chicken.
But do you think you think she will get it, or you think she should get it?
I think she will, and in a way she should, because I thought she was, she should have got it for, what did she do last year?
Last year was Chicago.
And then Bridget Jones. She's doing a lot of work, and she's very different in all of them. So I would give it to her.
Yeah, well, she's
Plus
obviously
the fact she allowed her teeth to be yellowed up, and they love that on the Oscars, don't they? Any ugly prosthetics or yellow teeth.
That would be one of the
That's a
reasons,
good
I'm
thing.
sure, why Charlize Theron's performance has, made such an impression on me, because she's not scared of sort of ugling herself down.
But
for the occasion.
I have a bit of an issue with this. I know she did a fantastic performance and she's a very clever actress, etc., etc. But in a town where sort of 98% of female parts go to very beautiful women, and there's automatically a prejudice against, more aesthetically challenged women. Every time there seems to be, where there's one part that an unattractive woman comes up, then we have this stunning-looking model who does it. And I do think everybody over-plaudits it because they've deemed to make themselves look more ugly. And, my God, horror of horror, they've put on a stone and a half, and they look like a normal woman.
Yeah, I know you I'm sure there's more to it just than that.
Oh,
and also,
no, I've said
let's
that
face it,
she's
Kathy
very
Bates hasn't done
brilliant.
badly
She's
over
very
the years, has she?
brilliant.
I mean, she's always in work.
True enough. I'd like to see
Yes.
Naomi Watts win that category, the Best Actress. I think she was great in 21 Grams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought she was
Which is also,
magnificent.
I would have loved to see win Best Picture, but it's not even nominated. But 21 Grams is the best film I've seen.
What about the actors? Let's talk about Best Supporting Actor and Best Actor. What do you think of the nominations
Ben
then?
Kingsley. We saw last night, didn't we? We went to see House of
Yes.
Sand and
Yes.
Fog, which overall, there was a few things I didn't like about it, but his performance is faultless.
I think
Yeah,
people
it's
forget.
brilliant.
I mean, you so expect a good performance from Sir Ben.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you kind of almost factor that in.
And you look at him
still
then
be
in that,
surprised.
say, Sexy Beast. He just couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
he was
I think all
That's
5
acting.
nominees.
That's what acting's all about in a way, isn't it?
Being different every time.
Yeah.
When called upon to do so. And Best Actress we haven't done either. Well, let me ask you for Best Actor, though. Who do you think?
Best Actor. I think from the nominations, I think it will probably go to Bill Murray. I hope it does.
You think Bill Murray? Because everyone over here, I mean, the
Or
kind of
Sean
smart money's
Penn.
going on Sean Penn, it seems.
I think Sean Penn.
Sean Penn was
Bill Murray.
phenomenal in that.
But it would be nice to
Mystic
see
River,
a
yeah.
comic performance
Yeah.
win an Oscar.
Yeah.
I think that comedy
Yeah.
is terribly underrepresented at the Oscars because I think that people tend to think that comedians are always playing themselves and they make it look easy. If
But
it's
Johnny
done
Depp's
well,
in there for his comedy
therefore-
performance, which we don't like as a comedy performance, do we? Because we think it's too much. And
Yeah. Well, I
I'd
really
rather
liked
seen
it,
Jack Black in there
Well,
for.
Did you like
for-
that?
I thought Johnny Depp was great in Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's fun to see him cutting loose and giving a part which is just.
I think it was
just
very
fun to
courageous
laugh
what
about.
he did with that part as
We're
well.
almost out of time here because we're going to go first of all to the pre-show of the Oscars, which is always great fun, and we are contractually obliged to show. But before we do that, very quickly, Best Picture this evening.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit.
I like Seabiscuit. it. That's the only one you've seen, isn't it? So apart
No,
from
that's
Hudson
not-
Fox,
that
so
is
that's...
not-
Do it quickly, you can't do it all.
No.
Sex Lives of the Potato Men.
OK, we're going to ABC for their pre-show. We'll see you later when the big show starts. Well, you're watching us live here in Hollywood. All the action's happening kind of a couple of blocks over that way. Who do you think's looking good this evening? Who have you seen there who's particularly looked impressive?
I love Ben Stiller.
Scarlett
I love
Johansson.
him.
She looks great, doesn't she?
She's
Popular vote.
gorgeous.
Have you seen Girl with the Pearl Earring?
No.
Yes, he's only
Okay.
seen Seabiscuit.
I've seen Seabiscuit. Not a horse.
Is that the only movie you've
Lovely
seen?
horse.
No,
Yeah,
he
you know-
thinks
Big brown fella.
he thinks
Seabiscuit hasn't turned up on the red carpet yet, but I'm sure you see a bloke walking behind with a bucket of the shovel.
He thinks Seabiscuit is a prop in Master and Commander, actually.
I know that was a
Still
tea
hasn't worked
biscuit,
his head.
wasn't it?
No, Seabiscuit, a little weevilly biscuit.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
you think?
Well, you
It's
know.
taken,
Well, he's
we've
more
explained
like-
that.
I saw the Cold Mountains.
Did you like the Cold
I
Mountain?
adored the Cold Mountains. I
It's
couldn't get enough of
wonderful.
them.
Yes, with Nicole.
Wonderful.
Cold Mountain, Nicole Mountain.
Well,
With,
I don't know what to say this,
beautiful-
but you know, I bumped into Jude on the way out here. He was on the same flight as me, and I was surprised to see him. He crept up on me, and when famous people do that, it's sometimes. And I said, "Where are you going? What you doing?" He said, "I got the Oscars." I said, "Nominated for anything?" Probably not the best thing. I'm trying now to pretend I was joking.
Spanish Civil Wars never looked so good.
It's
That's what-
interesting seeing that some of the guys who are turning up there this evening, presumably we're giving out awards, but just on the red carpet now, they're not just because it's the big event of the year, but also they're promoting their new movies. We just saw
well, Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson doing it. That was textbook stuff to promote your movie, wasn't
Those
it? They're doing
guys,
the
those
banter and the
guys.
bickering,
They're
you know,
great,
that's
though.
great.
But
They're
you'd
great.
want to go and see it now, wouldn't you?
Oh,
you
I've
see
seen
the
the trailer.
relationship.
The trailer looks terrific as well.
Can't wait for it.
And
Yeah,
Unlock Kane Polly as well, I think it's just about to come out as well.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Is it not so
But you know, Starsky and Hutch, there's a movie which I imagine we're not going to see up for awards next year. I mean,
Is that
maybe
based on a
honestly.
true story?
Yeah,
Starsky and Hutch.
yeah. A couple of
why
Welsh
this-
policemen.
Lovely, Starsky and Hutch. Right, Zebra 3, we've got an APB, all units, get downtown, there's been a break-in at the library.
You see, that could happen.
So if they'd
It's
seen
an
that, they would
idea.
have remade that.
It could be a movie.
It's an idea.
Get some lottery money behind it, you know, stranger things have.
Sex Lives of the Library Men.
You really like that film, don't you?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard so much about it.
Yeah, it's meant to be very good. I wouldn't be surprised if we see those young fellas picking up an award or two before the year's out.
That's the thing about the Johnny Depp thing that kind of irritates me a bit, is that you know, those guys are genuine comic, funny actors, and they just don't get nominated for awards. So Jack Black is not there for School of Rock. Jim Carrey's never been nominated, and yet because Depp is generally a very good but serious actor, because he's doing a comedy part, so everyone goes, you must give him an Oscar.
Well, maybe next year, who knows? We're going to go back now live to the pre-show. Alex getting ever closer and maintaining the red carpet theme. Here are some of the famous faces who've been stopping to talk to the BBC's very own Tom Brooke.
There's some beautiful designers out there that made beautiful
Sorry, you had
dresses
no
and
sound at all for that, I
sketches,
believe,
and,
but
it's a
weren't the
really hard
pictures
decision.
lovely?
I gotta
Did
tell
anyone
you,
see
though,
Diane
I
Keaton when
really
she
only
turned up
decided-
earlier on?
Oh look, you have a ladybird on you. Do you know how lucky that is?
What's going to happen? She came dressed as Charlie Chaplin. She did. She had the little cane and everything.
I think it's nice to see one of the best film actresses working the world who's still got a sense of humour and will still accept a bet from a friend. Obviously, that's what that was. I think she won herself a fiver tonight.
What was she wearing?
Just see, when I
She was wearing a,
asked
a bowler hat.
The bowler
She
hat.
wasn't, was she?
She
Was
had a
she?
big kind of thing, a squirty
Yeah, and a
flower.
moustache, the little moustache. You didn't see that? She had a little moustache stuck on. You didn't see that,
Yeah, but
Alistair?
not on her lip.
Someone's emailed us and said that you're wearing so much bling you're giving Posher one for her money.
Really, yeah. I thought I better just
What's Posh Spice?
That's very ungenerous of you.
Well,
to
if
do
I
that.
hadn't said it, you would.
Yes, but it's not the point. It's
Well, I'm
still most
stepping in.
ungenerous.
I was taking some of the
You don't
pressure
need to
off
step
you.
in
You know
for
what
me,
Diane Keaton, though? It's quite interesting to say that because in that performance she did in Something's Got to
Yeah.
Give, she had such a transformation from that kind of look that she did in the later Woody Allen films, didn't she? She'd got so slim and sophisticated looking, and it was a remarkable change. And all that kind of, you know, look she used to have with the Princess Diana chorus, that sort of went. And then tonight, I thought she'd
got
come
back.
all slinky and chic.
I hope she'd got over that. But you're huge Woody Allen fans, the two of you, aren't you?
Absolutely. You telling you the truth, she really was wearing a top hat.
No,
Didn't see that.
The thing?
It wasn't a top hat, no, Woody. It was a bowler hat.
Bowler hat? That's okay. It's the top hat.
And she was being chased by some fat policemen in kind of a speeded up manner. They really had pushed the boat out. We're going to be going back any second now to this pre-show. This is the final section of that. Next time you join us here live, the ceremony itself will have begun, and we will all have witnessed a most beautiful thing. There will be a brand new Oscar winner on the planet. Isn't that exciting? I think the first one up is Best Actor, but first of all, you've got their show, and then Billy Crystal. Enjoy. We'll see you soon. There we go. We're up and running in grand style. What did you think of the first chunk? What about that opening from Billy Crystal, Alistair?
Oh, what a gig. What a gig. Those things where he puts himself into the films. We should try and do that, you know, with the impressions. It can't be that expensive. The BBC could do that.
Must have cost a fortune. Must
Just
have taken
old
weeks
stand-up
and weeks.
experience has come back and thought, you know, when I was getting so nervous about doing 20 minutes somewhere, and you think, what a gig!
Yeah.
What he must feel before
But
he
it was
goes on to
a triumph, though, don't you think?
Oh, it was
Fantastic.
fantastic. Yeah, it was interesting because if you're looking closely at the beginning, he was doing that. So you can see that there are nerves there.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Even someone
and
like
then
him.
once he got the first few laughs, you can see the confidence grow. But to go out and sing,
Oh.
Yeah.
Four difficult
As well,
songs
yeah.
as well.
And I couldn't see an auto cue anywhere there, could you?
yeah,
So
I was
think it all
wondering that
upstairs.
when he was down on the floor, where he would be getting the words from.
But also, I mean, the man's really got some cojones, I believe is the phrase. I mean, to do those kind of jokes to Clint Eastwood when he's there, when making a joke, he refers to Sondra Locke, which can't be Clint Eastwood's favourite name.
That's chutzpah.
But what a terrific turn. And then to have Jack Nicholson essentially open the door for you to start the show, that really is something.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's no Best British sitcoms, obviously, but, you know, it's not a bad start to the show. And Best Supporting Actor, I think most of us were, you know, expected that.
And what a
So
happy man.
deserved
Imagine
it.
what it must be
So
like tomorrow morning.
deserved
Tim
it.
Robbins wakes up with Susan Sarandon on one side and a 13.5-inch Oscar on the other. Who could be happier in the
There you
world?
go. That's why we booked him, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we booked him.
They are such a cool couple, though,
Yeah.
aren't they, Tim and Susan? They're so talented and just so cool.
And what a lovely speech as well, I thought. You know, really charming, very
a
touching.
genuinely good speech.
And nice to see Catherine
Unaffected.
as well on St David's Day.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, of course it is back home. Over
Really
here, we're still the
glad to
29th.
get
That's why they
For
booked her.
America.
They knew it was St
you
David's
think
Day.
so?
This is the way Rob is going to go.
It was
when
either
he goes
her
to
or Bonnie
Hollywood.
Tyler. So you know.
It's a very Welsh-centric night.
So
at the
far,
Oscars, isn't it?
it's slanted heavily towards the Welsh. I don't know if they're going to keep that up for the rest of the show.
Well, let's only hope
I
so.
know Shakin' Stevens is doing the presentation for Best Original Song, but whether they can then stretch a whole show, Jonathan, is anyone's guess.
I would like to see it. There are very few daffodils in evidence on the red carpet, though.
They're concealed. They're concealed. They'll be unleashed later in a sort of Dame Edna
some-
gladioli style.
Did you almost say leak in a kind of subconscious way there as well?
Daffodil, leek, rain,
Leek,
Pitt, Tom.
Wales. Edot. He's off with Tom away.
I've done it. Look, how soon into the show? And I've already done a little bit of Tom.
Somehow I think Catherine's got more empathy with Burbank than Port Talbot these days, but I don't know why I think
Possibly
that.
these days.
I
Anyway,
didn't say that.
the show is up and running. Of course, Tim Robbins, Best Supporting Actor. That's the first time he's been nominated in the acting
Well
capacity.
deserved.
He'd been nominated once before as Best Director, but certainly he won this evening. That's terrific. Coming up, we've got in the next part art direction and animated feature. That should be good, of course. I know art direction is a particular favourite of yours.
Well, yes. Actually, I do hope that goes to go with the pearl earring because
Well,
the art direction
You
of that
see,
is
you were
superb.
laughing.
We
You're
have to go
already
back there now. They're warming up over at the Kodak Theatre. So settle down. The show's just beginning. There's lots more to come.
Sound and edited, yes.
Isn't it shaping up to be a lovely night?
Can I ask a question? I thought those were both Tim Robbins' sons, and he only kissed one of them.
They are, but he likes one of them better than
We've
the
all
other.
got favourites.
You don't want to flaunt it that much, surely.
Maybe the other one was naughty on the way to the ceremony. So there we have Lord of the Rings getting Best Art Direction. Now, I've been told by those who know this kind of thing that that's a pretty clear indicator of the way things might go later on, because it's commonly held that people who don't know much about art direction, which I think is probably 99% of people who go and see movies, those who don't work in art direction, tend to pick their best picture and then tick that box in all the other categories. So it looks like it may well be.
Which is a bit of a shame, because although Lord of the Rings has fantastic art direction on it, Girl with a Pearl Earring had magnificent
Beautiful.
art direction on it. Every frame was sort of
It did look beautiful.
composed like a Vermeer picture. The lighting was extraordinary.
Although
the
also
composition
Master
was
and Commander, I
amazing.
thought was stunning because it, you know, it looked perfect. It looked very much of the period, but it wasn't intrusive. It didn't take you out of the movie. It wasn't.
Well, that's the one I ticked on my ballot that we're having here.
And me.
Because you
well,
suggested it.
I still
Even
stick
because
with it.
you've
I'm
only
now
seen
down in
Seabiscuits.
2 categories now.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, hang around
Because
if you follow
I
me on any
listened to
others.
you. Because I
Last year
listened to
I
you.
came last in the ballot. I should point that out.
I forgot to do my ballot, but I know that all of mine are correct so
So far.
far.
Finding Nemo, are you a fan of animated movies generally?
I
Alistair?
very rarely
Like
go
that
and see them. I saw a couple recently, Sinbad and Aladdin, those sort of Disney ones, which are all, I don't know, they're strange. But that Pixar one, the Finding Nemo, was beautiful.
Wonderful.
And you forget it was animation. I mean, the way they had the coral and the water moving and everything, it's just, I soaked it up. Very witty.
Yeah.
The seagulls going,
Ellen DeGenerate or whatever.
See, this is why you two are such a great team, the way you seamlessly work together without treading on each other's toes.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry about that. My dad thought Ellen was very good.
Let me read you a couple of the emails we've had in for people, and please, at home, do email us. They do get through, and we'll listen, we'll read all your comments, and some we'll read out on there. Once again, the address to email to is oscars@bbc.co.uk. We've had Katie, who's a young Lord of the Rings fan from the sound of things, so she's staying up all night to watch it, and she has school tomorrow. Come on, Middle-earth, which shows you, Alistair, I think, that the kids are down with the Hobbits. Can we all say hello to the O'Malley Oscar party watching in Manchester? Hello.
Family.
But I like this one. Emma in Southampton says she's got all her friends around ready to down shots every time someone thanks their mum. So it should be a very drunken night. I think we should give them a hand there. So I'm going to say thanks to my mum.
I want to thank my mum because it's her wedding anniversary.
Okay.
I want to thank my mum because it's Rob's mother's wedding anniversary.
I'd like to thank my mum and Ronnie's mum, who's also...
That's 4 extra ones there. They're ready to go. And I've got to read this out as well, though, because we've had one for you, Alistair. Nurses at Warrington Hospital have emailed to say that you're looking hot tonight.
That's
So it's not a gay necklace then, you see?
I think it's a gay necklace. Maybe it's an eye care ward or something.
Or male nurses.
But that means, therefore... But you've had now one thing. I'm too modest to read out, but I've had several comment on my attractiveness. One, we've had a couple for you. None for Rob so far.
Do you mean your mum? You know,
and now I'm doing that, you can see where I'm balding. Unbelievable.
Now that you've thanked your mum, she might send one in.
Don't want one from my mother? What do you think I want from my mother? What are you, mad?
You see, don't believe everything you hear about the Welsh.
And now you're having a go at me as well.
I'm trying to help you out here.
Which way to turn? Bring back Patrick Kilty.
Well, not that way, because I chose your hair, not that way.
How quickly could Kilty get here?
I wish I could linger here, but unfortunately, Billy Crystal's ready to give out some more awards. We've got costume design and supporting actress coming up in the next chunk as we go back live to UMC Billy Crystal at the Kodak Theatre here in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. There you go, a lovely tribute to Bob Hope there, one of the genuine Hollywood greats who passed away since the last Oscars. He hosted the Academy Awards 18 times, which is quite something. Costume design was won by Lord of the Rings there. Once again, that's probably another indicator where things are going there. But I think, having said that, you know, obviously they earned it as well. But supporting actress went to Renée Zellweger. What do you think of that decision?
Looking at me.
Yes, looking at you, Alistair.
A very strong field. She was very good in Coal Mountain, very good. I must admit, I thought Patricia Clarkson was equally worthy of it in Pieces of April and in The Station Agent, which is a tremendous film which hasn't opened yet.
Well, I haven't seen Station Agent. Pieces of April I love, but Patricia Clarkson said when she turned up at the ceremony this evening that her dress was more expensive than the film that she'd appeared in. The film was made for something like, I believe, $300,000, which seems remarkable. We had Nick Cage on there a minute ago, of course, and I know you do a very fine Nick Cage.
Well, thanks very much. I may do the rest of this segment as Nick, but he's always been somebody I've enjoyed doing. Thank you very much for that. So, anyway, you interviewed him for something. I thought he was unfortunate not to be nominated for Matchstick Man. His performance in that was fantastic, I thought. So, what do you think of him? You've met him a few times. Is he a nice guy?
I love him very much. He's a great person to hang around with. We've had one from you. I know you do a few as well. Could we have to match that, Ronnie Corbett?
Just to keep with the...
What's wrong with me saying that?
Just to keep with the film, the cinematic theme. Let's go to Ronnie Corbett.
He doesn't do many.
I was about to do it, and Ronnie talked all over me. She hears the word. She hears the name Ronnie, and a light goes on, and she starts to perform. Will you give me 1 minute to do my one impression, please?
It's not your only one.
You know what? I think maybe we should save that now. You know,
right, I can't do it now.
Well, we should maybe save it. Well, no, because I think you spoiled the moment. To be honest with you. You know, I don't want to put it all on you.
Get used to it, Rob.
Shohei Aghdashloo didn't win for House of Sand and Fog. I think we all agree that was a stupendous performance by her there.
Brilliant.
There was a campaign leading up to this, of course, as there always is, that sort of suggested that Renée Zellweger might win it, but maybe she should have won it. I think that was the company responsible for that film. Then that was withdrawn. They said that was kind of dirty play. But there's a lot of that goes on out here. Does that surprise you that people campaign that openly to try and get an award?
Yeah, it does really. I mean, but it's all taste, isn't it? Everything is taste. And I mean, we were arguing about it all the time here. Who we think she'll win, but it is odd when you hear people saying, well, she didn't win it last year, so she should get it this time, or he's been nominated 4 times but hasn't won it, so let's give it to him this year, or the whole Johnny Depp thing, which we'll come to later on. If he's done so many wonderful films but never won one, let's give it to him for this.
I wonder whether the recipients are aware of that, though.
Political element,
I wonder whether someone like Renne winning it there thinks, well, OK, I won it, but did I get it just because I was passed over last year and you know, the years previously, or is it really just this performance I'm getting?
But I do think it was a very, very good performance she did in Coal Mines, and I really do. I thought she just really got totally immersed in the role, and I found her a lot more convincing than Nicole Kidman, who I think is a very fine actress, but I do think she was very good.
I would imagine if you won an Oscar, you don't ask too many questions, you just thank your lucky stars and your mom, obviously, especially for those people who are toasting the mom.
Have you noticed that no one in the crowd seems that surprised? I'm not sure whether that's because they've got an idea who's going to win, or whether that's the amount of Botox that's been applied today in advance of the ceremony. There's not a lot of forehead action going on, is there?
You know the new thing is? A keyhole lift. There's a little keyhole lift, and they got a little hole bored in their forehead.
Well, you know what? I'm kind of glad I have to cut you off there, because we're going back now live to the Kodak Theatre here in Hollywood for the 76th Academy Awards.
Ronnie Corbett now. Do you want Ronnie now?
No.
I could start it now. I'm now.
It's the 76th Annual Academy Awards. We just saw a live-action short being won by a film called Two Soldiers, which I can't pretend to have heard of beforehand. I don't know if any of you have caught that yet.
I can't.
It's top of my list to catch immediately afterwards. But did you notice that the fella responsible for that making the speech was kind of hurried off the stage?
Yeah.
Whereas Renée Zellweger was allowed to go on for, by my estimation, 12.5 minutes.
There hasn't been a good, funny speech yet, has there?
Not yet.
We're waiting for that good, funny speech.
Well, funny intentionally or unintentionally?
That's a
Either will do.
a funny speech at the Oscars. You've got to be emotive and emote.
They do emote, don't they?
There's a bit of emoting going on.
I just wish David Walliams was there and could do his thing that he did at the Comedy Awards and just go...
I love the year that Richard Gere asked everyone to concentrate so we could end strife in Tibet or something. Do you remember that? That was...
That's very reasonable.
Some of us are still working on that.
You know, it worked.
It did
work. There is no strife in Tibet. No, I looked for strife. I wonder what Ronnie Corbett would have made of the strife.
Anyway,
I'm going to have to interrupt you
surgery
there. We had some beautiful songs there as well, of course. Alison Krauss, the beautiful Alison Krauss, singing wonderfully 2 songs from Cold Mountain.
I loved the first one.
Yeah. You couldn't hum it, though. Could you hum it for me now?
You'll be my true love.
Exactly.
Oh, one.
And I had the word "ain" in it, but apart from that, and then Annie Lennox.
Scrabble, though. Very useful for Scrabble.
So you said when we were watching that you had a problem with songs with "ain" in the title, like there's a whole proliferation of songs with "ain" in the title.
He was being ironic. That was the point of the joke. That's the sort of humour that he does.
Here we go. We've had some more emails in. Thank you very much. And if you're still watching at home, congratulations. It must be about 3
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, very
well,
good.
so congratulations for sticking with us, and we thank you.
Time for suicides, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Amanda from Ealing has said that I look lovely. What a great suit. And said she went quad biking with you in Egypt this year, if that makes any sense, Ronnie.
Really?
Well, apparently so. No.
Quad biking?
Ian in London has said
dress?
he's noticed that they never have video links to stars who can't turn up to accept their awards here at the Oscars, unlike many other shows of its ilk, which I think shows its importance. And
what would be more important, though, than picking up an award at the Oscars?
we've also had, we haven't had any ones from you, from ladies yet, saying how attractive you are, but one here says, I think Rob is very sexy. He certainly gets the gay vote from Dundee.
Thank you. What?
That's what you're getting. Have a great night. You're far more...
Well, I'm not gay. I'm not gay.
You don't have to be gay to be appreciated by a gay.
Yeah, but let's just make that very clear. I'm not a homosexual.
Yeah, it's fine. It does.
But I'm not.
No, but it's good if you do the Ronnie Corbett, because you'll
I could do Ronnie Corbett. Ronnie Corbett isn't gay.
I
What
know
are you
he's
saying?
not.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Well, maybe that's what's working. Maybe that's what's getting you the pink vote. Is your Ronnie Corbettism?
I'm not saying
But
that.
you did.
Well, if you'd like
Yeah, do
to
it
add
now,
to
do
the
it now.
fire, then don't do it. To the controversy, you can email us, oscars@bbc.co.uk, or if you insist on texting, and frankly, I don't encourage that kind of thing, 07786 2070 200070. I think you look very attractive as well, and I'm not a homosexualist, and yet I can appreciate you aesthetically as a good-looking, virile young Welshman.
I've got nothing against gay people, but I just don't want the whole rumour going round that I'm gay. I'm very busy as it is.
There isn't a rumour going round, Rob, there isn't a rumour going round. Honestly, there is no rumour going round.
I can't help but think we've left the Academy Awards somewhere behind us. Have you noticed in the audience this evening Mickey Rooney wearing, I think unwisely, a roll neck and looking to the whole world like a large, sentient, circumcised penis?
Now you've offended all our Jewish viewers. Well
How
done.
can that offend someone?
What about all the circumcised people out there now feeling
Don't go lumping me
bit...
together with Mel Gibson. I've got nothing against them. In fact, I married one. A Jewish person, not a uncircumcised. If you're still with us, I congratulate you.
I'm not sure about the word sentient.
And admit I'm surprised. So
he
we've
know
still
what that
got
means?
to come.
I don't know,
Up now, we've got Best Visual Effects, and we have an honorary award to come.
I
won't
wonder what's
spoil
with
it for you
Best
by
Visual
telling you.
Effects.
So that's for Best Visual Effects. Lord of the Rings, Master and Commander, and Pirates of the Caribbean have all been nominated in that one. It'll be interesting to see who takes that. So we're going to go back now live once again to Billy Crystal over at the Kodak Theatre for the 76th Annual Academy Awards. Stick with us. It's turning into a fun night. I think you'll agree.
Shall I do it now?
OK, welcome back to us here in our little base just down the road from the Kodak Theatre where the 76th Academy Award is unfurling, I think, rather splendidly. I think it's one of the best in recent memory. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know about you, from the opening on down. And what a charming and memorable moment there from Blake Edwards.
Some CV he's got.
Yeah.
He didn't mention Peter Sellers, though, in that speech, did he?
Do you think there's bad feeling between them?
He didn't mention Audrey Hepburn.
No, but he
either,
mentioned Henry Mancini, and he mentioned a few people, didn't he? And he didn't mention Sellers. I would have expected him to give some nod to Peter Sellers.
Rather like if and when you get a Lifetime Achievement, you probably won't mention Steve Coogan.
Oh, I won't. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
What do you think Steve would say if you didn't?
What would Steve Coogan say if I didn't mention it?
Yeah, come on.
I was about to go into a bit of Audrey Hepburn.
Come on, let's know this.
Oh, he said, Rob, I understand, you know, why you didn't mention me, but it'd actually be very nice if you had, you know. Steve Coogan.
Yeah, you see, you know.
I'm doing Steve Coogan.
It doesn't travel, but
Alan
it will.
Partridge.
It will one day. Jennifer Garner came out there. I think she gave the visual effects award away there, and of course she has recently been working with.
Oh, Sir Richard Gervais.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais.
On Alias, yeah. Who phoned earlier this evening to say hello because he wanted to be mentioned. I went into Tom Jones for no reason. He wanted to be mentioned. He said, mention me on the show tonight in America. He said, are they asking about me? This is Ricky now, not Tom. He said, are they asking about me? And I said, to be honest with you, no, they're not.
But can I just say, is there not something wrong with the fact, surely this is the only award ceremony in the last 18 months that he hasn't won something yet?
I know.
Surely there's been a
It's
mistake.
still, well, it's quite
Yeah,
old, but
let's hope.
there's plenty of time to go.
Maybe he can come out for most flamboyant performance from a gypsy from Reading.
Something like that.
Or something like that. What do you think of the visual effects going to Lord of the Rings, Alistair? Is it finally winning you over?
It'll never win me over. I just think it's this. All these other movies must be sitting there. It's like the Pete Sampras phenomenon in tennis. People be thinking, why did I have to come out and be really good when he was around? Yeah. All these wonderful films which are completely getting overlooked. But I mean, being nominated is a great.
Are you bitter? Are you bitter? I think you are a little bitter, Alistair, and I know why, because you didn't get that recall for The Hobbit, did you?
No,
Surprisingly, because you're
Frodo. Who's Frodo?
He makes disc brake pads.
He makes tires.
I thought there
Very
was a
small
Frodo
ones.
was like Frodo foam you got in the 70s with Nesquik.
But wasn't that a great moment, though? Get Blake Edwards coming out there, not just collecting the award, but coming out there with a bit of slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
And what a lot of and it mirrored the way that he was absolutely brilliant in his direction, the way he would go seamlessly from one frame to another right across. Just me then.
Interesting to get Ronni Ancona's thoughts. I wonder what Ronnie Corbett would say about it.
Yeah.
I wonder what Audrey Hepburn would say about that, but...
All right. OK, let's hear. We'll maybe get to
Ronnie
Ronnie in a minute,
Corbett.
because we'd like to hear you, Ronnie, but I would love to hear what Audrey would have said about something like that.
She'd be absolutely and completely delighted. Darling, can't believe Blake's won it.
That's
That's
Audrey
excellent.
Roberts,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's
Isn't that Audrey Roberts?
No, it's not. I can only imagine what it must feel like watching this at home, though, because it must be now getting on for 3:30 in the morning. But you've still got the big ones yet to come, so you should try and stick with us.
Got 5 suicidal viewers left.
No, and we've got those girls watching somewhere who are having a shot every time someone thanks their mum. So
yes.
once again, I'd like to thank my mother.
And lots
I'm
of
sure.
Here's to my mum.
Yeah.
Yes.
And her wedding anniversary.
And to my mum.
Yesterday, the 29th. They only have it every leap year.
Do they?
Yeah,
Do they
because
really?
it's the 29th, yeah. Oh, they don't only have it every... Oh, Jonathan, don't twist my words to make me look like the chief smut-monger.
I wonder what Ken Bruce would have made of that.
Right, do you want to do Ken Bruce? All right, Ken Bruce at Radio 2
can't
Disco.
You know what?
Well,
Unfortunately, we
then,
don't
Bruce,
have time
stop
for your
it. I
Ken
don't want to
Bruce
hear it
either,
anymore.
because we're going back now live once again. Billy Crystal and friends over at the Kodak Theatre, which is just about 3 blocks over there. The 76th Annual Academy Awards.
Do a good Ken Bruce. Everybody would laugh, but we have to move on.
The late Katharine Hepburn being remembered there. What a fantastic star she was, wasn't she?
She kept her Oscars in the fridge.
Did she?
Well, not exactly. There was a story that she kept one in the larder next to her biscuits, but I just embellished a little,
Yeah,
and
well,
they
it sounded-
all ended up in the fridge next to the eggs.
It sounded
In
pithy.
Wonderful.
She is Hollywood, though, isn't she? Isn't I mean, she went through all the generations, all the decades.
Just it's kind of an aside note here, but do you think the line being they don't make them that anymore? But do you think that we kind of maybe take for granted the current crop of stars that they are going to be remembered as fondly, or do you really think that maybe the greats were great and the new lot aren't quite up to scratch?
I think one of the problems nowadays is there's so much access to their stars that you didn't have then, and almost every show now is a behind the scenes. We know how it's done. I think it's fair to say that in those days, you know, you didn't have a clue how it was made. You know.
I don't think it's just that. I really do.
I'm not saying it's just that. I'm saying that's one of the reasons. I'm not saying that that's the only reason. If you asked me, I have to say in a soundbite, we haven't got time for a whole thing.
Because he got his Steve Coogan out and he got his Ronnie Corbett, so I thought he'd calm down.
Because if you're living a lie, then sometimes things bubble up.
I am not gay. How many times do we have to go into this?
Listen, there is no rumour about you being gay because it's out in the open.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Therefore, there's no rumour. Relax.
Sound editing went to Master and Commander, which is marvellous. Lord of the Rings won sound mixing, and Lord of the Rings won makeup. It's 5 out of 5 for the Middle-earth type so far. Alistair, this must fill you with glee.
The only reason I have this thing about Lord of the Rings is that I think, apart from the fact that I found them all terminably boring, is that...
Well, did you watch all 3 of them?
No, I watched the first one for an hour and a half, and then I had to stop.
Well, then you haven't actually seen the film.
The third one I watched for an hour, and I had to leave. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't follow it. It was
But that's
dull.
because you hadn't seen the first one.
But all I'm saying is that all the awards go to the film which is massive, and I think it's harder to make a small film sometimes. And they give the awards to the films that have all the money thrown at them, massive things, massive cast, and a little film is sometimes harder to make with a small cast, small story. Which is why Lost in Translation is such a joy. And,
those sirens are leading a parade of Hobbit fans going to take you away. Well, we've put everyone's name into the Hobbit name generator in the computer, which you can actually do, or you can find it online somewhere. My name, Jonathan Ross, comes out at Old Moss of Lake by Downs. Rob here is Gregory Gamgee Took of Bywater.
That's nice.
Okay. Alistair, you are Bulbo Hamwich of Buckleberry Fern.
I'm starting to like it more.
Yeah, it seems to be
like that.
And Ronni, this is very fitting, seeing as you were talking about surgery earlier on.
Yes.
You are Esmeraldat Proudneck of Tuckborough.
I like that.
Near the Valley of Nip, no doubt. But Tuckborough, that's pretty good, isn't it? Esmeraldat Proudneck. So really, now that the Lord of the Rings has succeeded so triumphantly, will you go back, will you revisit them, will you give them a chance now, Alistair?
Well, maybe at some point. Yes, I'll try. I tried for you, I tried for this programme.
What a curmudgeon you are.
And I like big films. I love the Star Wars trilogy and all that sort of stuff. I love that stuff. But this just never got me.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Well, they don't. And here's what's exciting about it. At the moment, as I said, it's 5 for 5 for Lord of the Rings, and it's been nominated for 11 tonight. If it wins all 11, then it's up there with the greats like Ben-Hur, and the other film that won 11, Titanic, which, as we all know, was rubbish. But it won, and children liked it, simple-minded people liked it, the elderly quite liked it, you know, it was just rubbish. The terrible stuff. You liked it. You liked Titanic, you don't like All the Rings?
Well, it was sort of romantic, and it was big, and it was exciting.
I love your objective critical appraisal of things. It was rubbish.
Look,
that's it.
I'm like someone on Catchphrase. I say what I see. We're going back now, live once again, to the Kodak Theatre for the 76th Annual Academy Awards. Well, that's brought us all right down, hasn't it?
It's really
Quite a list. Donald O'Connor as well, I think. That is one of my favourite.
Charles Bronson. I love Charles Bronson.
That moment in...
and I did. He's not here anymore. I can't let him know.
Gregory Hines, I didn't know he'd died this year.
A few surprises in there then for you.
Donald O'Connor doing Make Him Laugh.
And Miller, though, what a fantastic stuff she was.
Fantastic dancer, extraordinary
and great comedian as well, very talented comedian. OK, well, we just had a documentary short subject. Chernobyl Hearts won that. Did anyone see that? You heard of it?
No.
You guessed it would have won that, didn't you?
Yeah, can we just talk for a minute about the ballot that we're having amongst the people on screen?
I don't think we have time to do that. I don't think we need to go into that at all.
As I understand it, it's 6, 4, 3.
I've got them all right. I've got them all right.
Well,
you didn't fill in a form.
I'm not voting for Lord of the Rings once.
Right.
I am in the lead.
Yeah, just lucky. The old pin in the paper approach.
While we were off air, there are 2 other people of this quartet admitted to liking Titanic.
Who?
2 of this quartet.
You like Titanic?
Yeah,
what's wrong with you?
Romantic.
I just say, so maybe not so stupid.
All right.
He's turned gay.
I'm not gay. I just like Titanic. That doesn't make me gay.
Let me read out.
Everybody who likes Titanic is a homosexual?
No, I didn't say that. I said since you have become gay.
I sat there just thinking, please hurry up and crash into that bloody iceberg, will you? And no more Celine Dion. Here's one. Here's an email we've had in from someone, and thank you for emailing us. Once again, if you want to email us, some of them we'll read out here live on the show. It's oscars@bbc.co.uk. What is going on with Alistair's hair? Has he really got a ponytail? Presumably from the front, it looks like you've got something going on.
It needs a cut.
Who did you think he is? Seabiscuit. Just wanted someone to email say, just want to say that we thought it was nice of Catherine Zeta-Jones to bring along her father-in-law. I think they're talking about how much older than her Michael Douglas is. I don't know if you noticed that when they stood up at one stage, they stood up to applaud someone. I think it was Blake Edwards, and he was the first to sit down. So obviously the knees couldn't quite carry it.
Michael Douglas has now been called Michelle Douglas within the industry because he's been too lifted.
Has he had a few?
Yeah, and that's not very good for men to do because they don't tend to work.
Presumably it's unfounded, so we should just say that's allegedly been lifted.
Allegedly, I'm so sorry. Allegedly, that is true. That I don't know that it's not. I mean, you know what I mean? Oh my God.
Tom Chapman has emailed to say, please let Rob do his Ronnie Corbett impression. It's great, so you have a fan there. But if we have time, we'll do that in a minute, because we've had another one from Brian saying, Jonathan, please tell that lovely Rob that he warms the cold mountains of Wales, and if my master and commander will nibble on my sea biscuit, he can be my Lord of the Rings anytime.
I'm not gay.
Who's that by?
You know what? It sounds to me like you're the last one to find out.
What's the name of the guy?
That was Brian. That was a young man called
Brian,
who's obviously taken a keen interest in our...
Is it hot in here or is it me?
Okay. And Brian obviously wants to be the first.
OK, so shall I do Ronnie now?
Well, we could have a bit of Ronnie now, I suppose.
I think so.
But before we go, you know, let's just tell people what's coming up, because we've got original score and film editing. Now, in both of these categories, Lord of the Rings is nominated. So if Lord of the Rings takes both of these, it'll be 7 for 7. You don't think we can get score?
Big Fish. Or Cold Mountain.
No, Cold Mountain, Cold Mountain.
Cold Mountain might get score, I guess, but I mean, Lord of the Rings, it's rousing stuff, you know?
But rousing to what?
Rousing to get you roused.
Big Fish is wonderful. Big Fish is so good. And Cold Mountain we saw earlier on. Great.
Big Fish is Danny Elfman, of course, isn't it? Who does all the Tim Burton movies. And film editing, City of God may well be with a chance, I would have thought. But then Lord of the Rings, see, maybe people are just ticking the boxes for a movie which everyone who understands and appreciates cinema has decided is a masterpiece.
I'm on the wrong show.
Isn't that right? Would you like to do a little bit of Rob first?
Yeah,
what would Rob... Well, before we get on to Ronnie Corbett, what would Barbara Windsor make of tonight? You see,
Don't look at me like that.
I love your Barbara Windsor.
Do you?
I could sit and watch you doing Barbara Windsor all night. I mean, I'm sure your Ronnie Corbett's good, but the Barbara Windsor that's inspired.
No, I can't. Look at him
fantastic.
tapping impatiently.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I can't bear to hear anything.
Well, listen, maybe we could have a little bit of Ronnie Corbett. We could have a little bit of Ronnie Corbett now, possibly. Oh, hold on. I've just been told we're going back now live over to the Kodak Theatre for the 75th Annual Academy Awards. Maybe we'll do some more after this because Billy Crystal's waiting.
I need that.
Film editing, Lord of the Rings. Original score, Lord of the Rings. 7 for 7. It's going to be a big night in Hobbiton, isn't it? What do you think?
Well, you know what I think.
Yeah, I just like hearing you. I just like seeing you eat dirt.
Cold Mountain is the most fantastic soundtrack score I've
Not
ever heard.
fantastic enough, my friend.
Who's voting for these things?
Small people with hairy feet.
Now listen,
clearly.
when they go to the top, the stars, do they go to the bathrooms to touch themselves up? I mean, well, I mean makeup. Do they go to the bathrooms to put their lipsticks on because they all look so
You mean
perfect?
the commercial breaks?
No, not just in the commercial breaks. Do they go
I think some of them have had industrial strength makeup applied earlier on by a crack team of...
So just sitting there looking perfect, don't they ever go and powder their nose or anything?
Or we.
But, you know, we're looking pretty good.
Oh, they don't wee, that's disgusting.
That's
They're
true,
A-listers, they don't wee.
Okay. Now, we heard 2 of the songs there that have been nominated for original song. That's coming up in the next part. The song from Belleville Rendezvous and the song from Mighty Wind, of course. The other nominees are, there's Into the West, Lord of the Kings, Scarlet Tide, Cold Mountain, and You Will Be My Ain to Love, Cold Mountain. We heard of this. The Ain in the title there.
The Ain
but those 2 were catchier than the ones we heard from Cold Mountain.
That's not true.
Hum one of the Cold Mountain songs.
And you will be my
true love.
Yeah, you have a point. You're looking a little bit disgruntled.
He's tired.
I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. I have peaked and I'm still suffering from this jet lag thing.
Hold on, when did you peak exactly? I must have missed that.
Do you know, he's not good when he's tired.
I'm not good when I got tired last night, didn't I?
He got tired. We had a fantastic time.
Yeah, no, we're feeling left out now, aren't we?
No, tell them what happened.
I was part of it.
We had a lovely time.
Great time. And then at one point, then Rob just goes like that. Suddenly he becomes tired.
And
it becomes
Well, you say that, but that's because he's with a lady.
It's not what I'm used to.
Was that Tom Jones we had there?
Yes.
Now, you see, if
She's a lady. Whoa, I'm back.
He's back.
Here we are.
He's peaking again.
As Ronnie Corbett
Phone your neighbours, wake up grandma, he's on a roll.
Twin Peaks.
It was 1974. I said to Ronnie Barker, I said, what?
Who was that?
I'm doing Ronnie Corbett.
No, you're not.
I'm doing Ronnie Corbett.
That sounded more like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Fine, I'm just going to sit back and let the show sink.
Don't do that. No. Come on, join in.
No,
we want you to feel like you're an
He
active
really
part.
has peaked now.
You might
What's
be
the point?
the less
You have to get
advantaged
used to
member of the
this.
team here, but come on, join in.
Doing impressions for Jonathan, you've got to get used to this.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had
And
4 years of
Alistair
this.
does impersonate. He does crackers.
Have you
That's
done
why I
this
haven't-
show?
No one I've done his show. You do an impression. Bang, you get
Do your
slapped down.
Columbo.
You get slapped
Do
down
your
all the
Columbo.
time.
That's
Am
why
I
don't
bothering
do
you?
them anymore.
Am I bothering you? Officer, am I bothering you?
That's Dustin Hoffman.
Am I bothering?
That's Dustin Hoffman.
They're similar, yeah.
You see? You get slapped down if you do
What
it.
would Barbara Windsor make of all this?
Well, I don't know if I want to say.
You know what? I'd love to hear more, but we've got to go back once again. They've got Oscars to give out, and someone wants some original song, foreign language film, cinematography coming up right now.
He's peaked.
Okay, well, welcome back. It's all happening, isn't it? Lord of the Rings, 8 for 8, with best original song there from the movie. So they have won everything they've been up for there. And what a lovely speech that was from Annie Lennox, I thought, didn't you?
I'm going to go out on a limb now. I'm going to make a prediction. You can hold me to it, okay? Best Picture, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, no,
You heard it here,
you
ladies and
really
gentlemen.
are
Best
going
picture.
home.
Actually, though, to be fair, for someone who seems to have very little knowledge of anything, you have done very well in the poll this evening. You're in the lead at the moment, which just goes to prove, I think, that whole theory about monkeys and typewriters in a room alone, something will come of it, and that's what's unfolded here this evening. Les Barbarians, the foreign language film.
Worthy
this
winner.
evening. I'm
Fantastic
That was
testing.
a brilliant film.
Did you see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did see it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And like
Seen it.
some
It's a
people even
brilliant
seen
film.
Seabiscuit.
I've seen Seabiscuit, you know.
I love Seabiscuit.
I love the Seabiscuit.
I would
Mr.
say
Jonathan.
better than Lord of the Rings.
What, Les Barbarians? Yeah, but you would say every film this evening.
Exactly, it's
Yeah,
better
you
than
were
It's got
going on about how
lists
good
here of all
Freaky
the
Friday
actors
was
and what
earlier.
they're
Freaky Friday is better
You
than
like
Lord of the
Freaky
Rings.
Friday?
What's the
Made me
good
laugh.
film?
Yes, there's no wit in Lord of the Rings. Is there an award for best witty film? No.
It's not
I'm
necessarily
not
meant to be
looking at the
witty.
wit
It's an
awards, I'm
epic
looking
battle
at
between
what the
good and
girls are
evil, and there were witch kings riding on giant
So
snake
the Last
beasts.
Samurai. That was good.
Oh, you're a fool. Okay, but it's coming from a good place when I say
I
that. You
know.
know, coming up,
Shakespearean
we have
fool.
adapted screenplay, an original screenplay. Now, some of these movies haven't opened over in the UK yet. American Splendor has done very well. City of God. Oh no, they all have. Sorry, they all have been out there. Dirty Pretty Things, which of course came out quite a long time ago in the UK. I think it only came out last year over here. That's co-written by Steve Knight, I believe, who also I think co-created Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That's true.
No, he co-created Chris Tarrant.
Did he?
Yes.
From spare parts found in lavatories at the beginning of Dirty Pretty Things.
So presumably if he wins tonight, he'll phone a friend.
What a remarkable.
I'm sorry. Somebody had to say it.
You know, I
I'm so
almost
glad
wish
that was you. I'm so glad that wasn't me that said that.
You should have seen the ones
How
I
would
didn't say
Ronnie
earlier on.
Corbett
Stay
have done
tired.
that particular joke, the millionaire joke?
Ronnie
you know,
would have
just
said,
Well, hold on a second. Let's warm this up because Rob, of course, is not really known for his impressions, but the Ronnie Corbett he does. I mean, after he's Tom Jones, is considered to be possibly one of your finest.
second, I would say it's Ronnie. It's Tom Jones, Ronnie Corbett.
Steve Coogan.
Wait, Ken Bruce, Steve Coogan.
So it's quite a
Hugh
limited
Grant,
palette you have to draw upon.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, you do not a bad Anthony Hopkins. It has to be said.
Should we talk about the
Whoa,
clothes?
what do you mean
Well,
not
in a minute,
bad?
maybe. Hang on just a second.
Tell everybody what happened
Well,
when you spoke to Hopkins and you told him who was on the show.
He
on this
said,
show.
Rob Brydon, I have not heard of it, this man.
And what's the first thing Jonathan says to me when we meet in Los Angeles? Hello, Rob, nice to see you. How are you? I talked to Anthony Hopkins last night. Never heard of you. Anyway, how are
Hold
you?
that thought. We're
This
going
is
back
like
live to the
Dick Van
Oscars.
Dyke.
Lord of the Rings, 9 for 9. 9 for 9. I don't know why I'm looking at you there, Alistair. It just happened to be. Lord of the Rings, adapted screenplay. That's quite something, isn't it? So there's only 2 it's still up for, and it might well get all of them. Nice clean
Does
slate.
it ever happen that if a film has won all those other categories, it then doesn't get?
I don't
Yes.
know. I don't have that evidence or the information to hand there. I suspect not. But
It'd
then
be a hell of a shock, wouldn't it? If now it's. What are you laughing at? I'm making an observation.
I know, it's just amusing. Your body language is amusing. You're scratching yourself.
Because
It's
you
funny
know
the way
why?
you're doing
Because
it.
you've
I am
decided
not
to be
gay. I am
serious
sitting
at
like
point.
this
Will you
because
get off
I'm
of the gay
relaxed.
thing? These days, no one cares. It's great to be gay. It's good to be gay.
You think I should just relax about it?
Yeah, just take it easy. Lost in Translation, original screenplay there. That's a nice win, a big win for Sofia Coppola, but obviously...
And also a consolation prize because she's not going to get Best Director.
I would have thought possibly not. We've been having some emails coming in still, of course. We've had one here from Clem Little. How about an Oscar for Best Turned Out Director to Peter Jackson? Hair by Wurzel Gummidge, outfit by Pound Stretcher. He doesn't really make the most of himself, does he?
He looks like he's got personal hygiene problems as well. You just know that there's going to be a little bit of a...
You're just down on the whole thing, aren't you?
I just want to work with him, you know?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
We've also had someone emailing us and saying they don't believe we're out in LA because they've seen this rug for sale in IKEA. And indeed, we did buy it there and we brought it over with us. So well spotted.
Damn, our evil plan has been foiled.
But you wanted to talk about the ladies' outfits, didn't you, Ronni?
The ladies' outfits, yeah. Well, there's a list here of what everybody's wearing. Julianne Moore is in French Connection. Naomi Watts is wearing Karen Millen.
She always looks good in there.
Sofia Coppola's in Warehouse. Nice little number from that. Sandra Bullock. No, that's not. Yes. So basically, there's been lots of, and everybody seems to be wearing Versace, really.
Well, they're nice clothes, though. I see you've paid some attention.
Who do you think looks the nicest?
Out of all the ladies this evening, I can't choose. I feel like a child in a sweet shop. I'm trying to imagine how some of them smell.
You know, one thing that always strikes me as odd about these events is that people who are used to working with microphones come on and do their speeches, like Tobey Maguire did then, I think Rene did earlier on, and the microphone's down there, and they go right down like that.
Yeah.
As if they haven't noticed that everyone else has spoken from here, and it's picked them up.
Well, when you've worked the streets... we've had an email here. Just want to say that the Welsh bloke, I'm assuming that means you would, looks like Roger Daltrey.
Yeah, I get Roger Daltrey, B.A. Robertson, on a good day Hugh Grant, and sometimes Bruce Springsteen. I can do a facial Bruce Springsteen impression. Would you like to see it?
Well, maybe so, but then let's have that Ronni Corbett.
OK, but I'll do a facial Springsteen down there. Ready?
OK.
Ready? Here he comes. Ready?
OK, coming up, we have got...
You should tell them about your pianist story, Alistair.
Too long, maybe later.
You do look a bit... There is a touch of Adrian Brody about you.
Somebody came up to me recently and said, hey, we really enjoyed your film. And I said, oh, thank you very much. The one at Christmas, meaning the Posh and Becks one that we did.
Oh, don't. That's so embarrassing.
He said, no, the pianist. Not me.
But hopefully it's some consolation that someone somewhere's gone up to Adrian Brody and said, go on, do Becks, go on, do him.
And can he do it? No, I bet he can't. So that's
actually,
consolation.
you've been very restrained this evening. We haven't had that many.
I've still got a terrible cold, so everybody I do sounds like somebody with a bad cold.
Because we've been dominated by this request to do Ronni Corbett.
And by a lot of anger coming out. The big awards are yet to come, really. I mean, we've got 4 left ahead of us, I think. Coming up now, we have Director and we have Best
Peter
Actress
Jackson.
in a Leading
Peter
Role.
Jackson,
I would have thought so, but also Fernanda Moraes, City of God, which was a very impressive film, and a lot of people won over that. I think it's kind of very flashy, his directing. It's the sort of thing people would notice. It didn't work for me. I thought it looked like one long Bacardi commercial with a little bit of slum thrown in for colour.
But it depends what direction is, whether it's working with actors or whether it's making things look pretty and nice and impressive. And if it's working with actors, then I think that Clint Eastwood should get it. Jim Sheridan, all the actors.
But you know, we could be on the verge of a major upset because if Sofia Coppola or Peter Weir takes the award, then that would mean this would be the first one tonight that Lord of the Rings hasn't won.
Well, and here's hoping.
You see, you're really doing yourself no favours. I wouldn't be surprised if you get beaten up by small, hairy people in rags on the way home today.
You're not getting paid to say all this, aren't I? It's the idea. I create controversy, you know.
We're getting paid?
And I do Ronni Corbett.
Well, speaking of which, we haven't had that yet, so now maybe you'd like to go into the next break for us and give us a bit of Ronni. As I said, we're coming up for Best Director and Best Actress in a Leading Role. So settle down into that big chair like Ronni Corbett used to do all those years ago. He was in the big chair. It was the Two Ronnies show. Oh, hold on, we're going a bit early, I'm afraid. We're going over back live now once again to the 76th Annual Academy Awards, maybe later. Promise.
Complain about the noise.
Marvellous Ronni Corbett impersonation and well worth.
Thank you.
Charlize Theron there collecting Best Actress in a Leading Role. You can go off people, can't you? What a speech. And not even any tears at the end. She was building up to the tears, she was promising tears. She was on the verge of tears, then no tears.
Is it tactful to thank South Africa after having lost your accent?
I would have thought not. That was, you know, but I mean, obviously a good performance and well deserved and what we expected.
I haven't seen that
very
I
gorgeous.
thought Diane Keaton was going to. I thought they'd be giving it to Diane Keaton sort of in recognition of all her.
Well, Conceivisket, that's what you said.
No, seriously, of all, I thought she'd be held in great affection by the Hollywood.
I'm sure she is. I want you to see her conversation just so we could compare how much she looked like Freddie Parrot-Faced Davis this evening. And perhaps you could say I'm thick up to here. And there you go. Directing, of course, Peter Jackson for Lord of the Rings. That's 10 for 10 this evening.
I'm going to have to go and see it again.
You're going to have to. There was one more chance for it to win, and that's Best Motion Picture. Now, if Lord of the Rings does win that, this will be one that the Facts and Figures fans out there like. That'll mean it's won 11 out of 11. Now, Ben-Hur won 11, but it was nominated for 12. Titanic, against, you know, all rhyme or reason, also won 11, or that was nominated for 14. So in a way, it would have done better than both of those, because of course it'll won every single one it's nominated for. The show, though, you've been enjoying it this evening. You think it's a good, fun show?
I think it's been very well put together. I'm surprised. I think it's missing a bit of glitz. I thought there'd be a few more dancing girls or a few musical. You know, they've had big numbers.
Well, the
they
set is
haven't
quite
had any big
downbeat,
numbers.
actually, isn't it, as well?
Have they?
I think all award shows.
There's not been much whooping, because they're all, you know, established people who have been very polite.
They all start well, don't they? Because there's more scripted material at the front of a show. It's like when you're hosting some of those dreary affairs. It starts off well with scripted stuff, and then as it goes on, people tire. And it becomes less sort of coherent, and the people go over, so they're having to rush.
You really do have issues, don't you? Tom Cruise looking splendid, as always, as only he can. I wonder if he's been using the nasal hair clip I gave him last time we met. I was hoping there'd be an undershot so we could check out the general lack of bush going on up in the nasal territory there. And, of course, Peter Jackson, collective direction. I'm sure, though, that winning the Oscar probably didn't fill him with as much excitement pride as it did when he picked up the Film of the Year award in 2002 and 2003, as voted for by viewers of the film show that I do every year there at home. And we'll no doubt win. I'm sure that was probably in his... He merely forgot to thank me and all the viewers. As an oversight there. The big awards are really coming up now, of course. I mean, they're all big at the Oscars, but the real big is the left actor in a leading role and Best Motion Picture. We saw some of the actors there waiting to find out whether they've won. Jude Law looked, understandably, I think, quite nervous there.
Yeah, so that's only because you snubbed him.
I didn't snub him. I playfully was trying to defuse the tension by pretending I didn't know he was nominated for an award at the Oscars this year.
How nervous must they be? They've been waiting all night.
Can you imagine how that must feel?
All night.
And imagine now, I would have thought, how Lord of the Rings cast and Peter Jackson feel, because they've won 10 out of 10. There is an outside chance, a slim possibility they don't win this 11.
It could come up on the outside.
I would have thought it's a very tiny chance, but I mean, if someone else gets in there, then it would be, I would have thought, a rather downbeat ending to the night for them.
Yes, but I would enjoy that.
Diane Keaton, we didn't see up there this evening, of course. Adrian Brody, making a little joke there, because, of course, last year he famously locked lips with Halle Berry for perhaps a tiny bit too long. If you had the choice and you could overcome whatever gender preferences you might have, and it's far a bit for me to try...
That's a big thing to ask.
Who would you have gone for this evening? I'm thinking just lust here. It doesn't have to be a relationship.
Oh, OK. Charlize Theron is...
You think Charlize Theron?
Do you not think so?
Don't let me colour your decision.
Who would you choose?
Gorgeous.
Well, it's not about me. It's about we're asking.
But obviously, your shock says you disapprove of my response.
I quite like the fat bird who wrote Lord of the Rings. But I like a plumper woman.
Look.
No, the other one. The slightly bigger girl. More cushion for the pushing.
You just only have eyes for Jennifer Connelly, don't you?
Well, no, Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts, yeah.
I've only seen her in 21 Grams without many clothes.
A fabulous actress, but you've been in a relationship with an actress and you said you found them needy and hard to please. Is that
Did
not
I say that?
Yeah.
When was that? Who was that?
That's a small in joke, because of course they were an item once, and that's...
Genuinely tense moment there, Jonathan. Well done.
Far tenser than I had thought it would be, so I won't go there again. Let's go back live. This is the final chunk. Stick with us. The big two, the 76th Annual Academy Awards.
Sorry, you didn't know what you were saying.
Didn't know. Well, great show. Strange ending.
Yeah. It's like
Cool prize, though, wasn't it?
Have they done that before?
No, I don't think so. It was like the ending of Cracker Jack or something, wasn't it?
I was glad they didn't wave, though.
You know, some of them trying to hold lots of things and a cabbage. Don't drop the Oscar. Very popular win, Sean Penn there, it struck me. I mean, there really seemed to be a very genuine response.
Bill Murray, he did look a
Bill
bit
Murray did look
dejected,
genuinely...
yeah, but it's hard to tell with him because he's only got the two looks, hasn't he, really? You know, disgruntled and slightly more disgruntled. It's an age
Tell
thing.
you what, Nicole Kidman, how do her organs fit into her body? She's just unbelievably narrow. She's like the sort of woman that Captain Kirk would meet, you know, when you go to
I'll tell you what, next time I bump into her, I'll ask her for you.
No, I know that's she's very beautiful, but she seems to have got...
She's very thin.
Did you notice that Clint looked genuinely moved as well, obviously, that Sean was on the award. He had his mum with him. Clint Eastwood had his mother with him, which itself must qualify for some sort of an award, I would have thought.
I think so.
They would have had Grandma there as well, but they couldn't get an iron lung down the side to the end of that well, so she was stuck at the back there.
No, he's a worthy winner, but there was some great
And of course, let's face it, there was one film to rule them all this evening. Alistair's new favourite, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. 11 out of a possible 11 tonight. That really is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, and he thanked his fans. his fans.
I'm going to have to go and see it again. Clearly.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
Yeah.
What a huge success, though. I mean,
obviously,
really
the first hour after which I walked out was not the best hour. So,
yeah, well, no, it was great.
Obviously, the next two are better.
I'm pretty sure, and I think most people are probably aware of this, that it wasn't just being awarded for its achievement this one year, this one film.
It's the whole
It's kind of a cumulative thing. It's like all three of the movies that really didn't get what perhaps they deserved or might have got in the past and this evening.
Which is why it's unfortunate for everybody else that's nominated this year.
A tough year. Well, particularly for Seabiscuit, which didn't win a single award.
Which is a great film.
And it was a fine film and could have done really well.
Well, some wonderful films nominated in every category, and I hope people will go and see those as well if they haven't seen them yet. Ones they haven't heard of, perhaps that have just been released or about to be released.
That's one of the best things about the Oscars, isn't it? Is that it does bring to your attention films that you wouldn't otherwise.
Films like Lord of the Rings, small, low budget, personal pictures like that.
It was a new one for me.
For next to nothing on digital video. Yeah. Well, I think it was a fun show, though. I mean, it was a good, solid show. It didn't seem too long. It didn't drag.
They could have done with a few more dancing girls. That's all I
But that opening was up there with the best of his openings.
One of the best openings, no doubt about it. I'm sure you guys know how we did here. What we did this evening, we had a little kind of, what do they call these things? A ballot, a sweep sort of thing going to see who would get the most. Alistair McGowan, well, Ronni didn't fill her form in.
I got them all right, though.
Yeah, but you didn't hand in a form, so
them all right,
we can't count the vote. Alistair,
by refusing to vote for Lord of the Rings at all.
You got 9 right. Well, I didn't vote for him in every category. I got 11. Rob, you got 14. Pretty good, but Tom, who produced the show, he got 16.
Yeah, but it's on-screen talent. That's the only, that's the thing we're going with.
So that means I won then, doesn't it? Who else won there? Mystic River, they got 2, I believe, this evening. Cold Mountain got just 1, which is possibly a bit of a surprise.
Disappointing, isn't it?
And Master and Commander only got 2 as well. I would have thought that was very disappointing. But what you said earlier, I think, is no doubt worth bearing in mind, is the fact that Lord of the Rings, really, it was its time.
Yeah.
It didn't win so strongly in the past, and really, to be up against it this year, no one would have wanted to be in that position, I would have thought.
Definitely not. It's interesting as well, people are saying that the BAFTAs are an indication of the Oscars, and I think there's very little correlation at all with any of the awards that won at the BAFTAs with the awards that won here tonight. Renee, I think, won the same award.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think there's very little correlation. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it was interesting because most of the people who won this evening, and this is what had been predicted. I mean, this really was. It was pretty close. Everyone was saying, the clever money was going on Sean Penn, it was going on Charlize Theron, and it was going on Lord of the Rings pretty much across the board.
There wasn't really a surprise at all, was there? Really?
No.
Well, 11 surprises for me.
But you're bearing it in good stead, I think.
Yes.
Bill Murray, of course, will be coming back to this hotel later on. I think we owe it to ourselves.
I think we should leave a little note for him under the door.
But a nice one, not one that says loser.
I mean, a nice note. Not one with newspapers.
Yeah.
That was a bit mean of Billy Crystal as well to draw attention to his.
I wasn't sure what was going on there. Was that? Maybe he was just being kind. Maybe he did, because Bill Murray clearly looked quite upset.
He looked very upset.
I think it was because there was all this. Debate whether it was between Sean Penn and Bill Murray, and that was kind of a well-known fact, and they felt they had to address him.
But as we said, comedy performances don't often get Oscar nominations. So Bill Murray, as a ostensibly comedy actor, probably thinks this is my big chance. Big chance, and he's by far the eldest of the nominees.
And it was a tremendous performance from him. There really wasn't a movie there without that performance.
It was a comedy performance in the same way that sort of Peter Sellers was in Being There, wasn't it? It was very kind of similarly sort of an isolated man. And Sellers didn't win for Being There, did he? That was Dustin Hoffman.
A career-defining comedy performance.
Yeah.
What do you think was the best comedy moment in the show? Was there a moment that you remember? For me, it would be Blake Edwards coming on to accept his award and then shooting past him.
I'd say Billy Crystal. I couldn't decide whether it would be the song that he does or the montage. The films are great.
Yeah.
Because that's something you want to tape and watch again and again.
3 or 4 songs he did at the beginning as well, though, really, didn't
he? Does a song for each film, doesn't he?
The Pete Rose gag at the beginning, I'm reliably informed by Americans that Pete Rose is a player of a game called baseball, which is popular here, and despite they have a thing called the World Series, obviously it isn't played all over the world, nor will it ever be. We should make that clear, just so they don't get above themselves. That's why that joke. But that's a strange gag to put in, I would have thought. I mean, because something that's going out for billions. I know you don't want to play too dumb, but you would have thought there are lots of parts of the world, well, most of them, really, where they don't play this game called baseball.
Well, we assume everyone knows who David Beckham is, but obviously that's not true over here either, so it's horses for courses, unless you see Biscuit at the Oscars.
Yeah, I just still think the baseball thing could have been reined in a bit, It's Japan and America. There's no such thing as a World Series. Are you pleased that anyone didn't win? I mean, Johnny Depp didn't win the award this evening. I know you weren't a fan of his performance.
I like Johnny Depp a lot, but no, I just thought Pirates of the Caribbean was was too big, and his performance was too big for me in that.
Very critical.
Well, you know, we ask him to be critical.
I've been fulfilling a
No,
Tom
I
Paulin
know.
role all night. I've been trying to be, you know, argumentative. And,
See, there's an
and
impersonation that does travel.
Absolutely. I mean, listen to the echoing laughter around the place. It's obviously well worth doing.
Would you come back next year if I was asked? If you were asked, would you?
I don't know. It's not been that great, has it?
It's what the viewers
I
want.
got very tired about 3/4 of the way through. In
We
all honesty.
noticed.
And
You peaked, didn't you?
I did peak. I did peak. Not while we were on air, which was the disappointing thing.
But you should have seen him in the commercial breaks.
Oh,
you know,
I
he
was really buzzing, and yeah, I'll be back like a shot, Jonathan, if you'd be kind enough to ask us.
Well, if
you
we're
could
back
just
next
work
year.
on getting, you know, when you being so miserable when you get tired. If you could work on that, I'm sure you'll be invited back.
And I didn't get to ask you what you're wearing this evening.
I'm wearing a tuxedo.
I know you are, but is it a particular design?
It's that shop on Charing Cross Road where you can rent them, and they say if you like it, you can buy it from us. So I went back in and I bought it.
Oh,
£110.
It really is getting late, isn't it? I've got to say thank you to all of you for being here. It made my job, such as it is, which isn't really a job, it's a pleasure, but it made it much more pleasurable, if indeed that's possible. So thank you all.
I hope so. It's been a pleasure.
And I hope everyone knows that they are genuine bona fide film fans, and any of the things we said that might have seemed a little bit negative or choosy, that's just us being subjective, as indeed I'm sure you are at home as well, because I'm
It's
sure...
all taste.
Yeah, and we
It's
all
all
enjoyed
taste
the
at
show.
the end of the day.
It was a great night. I just wish they hadn't had lined up at the end like kids who've won a talent competition. Sean Penn looked especially comfortable, didn't he?
Do you think if they'd shown the audience, the mums and dads would have been there with camcorders?
Well, we've got to go now. I think I speak for the meeting when I say we've wallowed in every moment of another memorable Oscars show. Congratulations to all of tonight's recipients, and thanks to you for staying with us through the night. Though if you get some sleep now, you'll be fully refreshed in time to catch all the absolutely crucial moments once again on BBC One at 10:35 this evening. That's just a little something to look forward to as I bid once more thanks to Rob Brydon, Ronni, Ancona and Alistair McGowan for their very entertaining company. Good night from Hollywood and the 76th Annual Academy Awards. Thanks for watching.
To give my diamonds back now.
Well done, everyone.